Hi, it's Lee from coloralong and I hope you're having a great day today. I have decided as my very last coloured picture for the Johanna to June colour along that I'm going to colour today from Johanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder colouring book. And I've reviewed this before. I'll put a link up here where you can check it out if you don't already have this book, but I've decided to do something different today. I've decided just to colour monochrome, and although I've done this before, I think it's always been like in blues or whatever, but today I wanted to give a crack at just colouring in blacks and greys. So I'm going to use my Prismacolors and some shades of cool grey. I think they're 50% 30% and 90%, and also some black and white, and I might add a bit of Posca at the end. I did really want to do a grey colourful background, and I had this vision of like a black and white cat in the foreground and then this really colourful background, but I don't think that I am going to get this finished by the end of June, which is the last day for the colour along. So I'm going to, when I finish it, I'm going to play around with some digital backgrounds and sort of see give me some inspiration for later on when I do get a chance to finally do the background. But I think because time is running out to finish the colour along before the end of June, and so I really don't think, even though I've gone for this limited colour palette, that I'm going to get the background done. But anyway, we'll see. And I chose the cat picture, of course, because it looks like my beautiful Millie, and many of you may have seen Millie in videos before, and it sort of looks a bit like her, but Millie's got a downturned face and beautiful blue eyes, so I'll probably add a little bit of Posca to it, I think, maybe at the end. We'll see. I really don't see that I'm going to have time to get the whole thing done, but we'll give it a go and see how hard it is to do just like blacks and greys. I think it's going to be like a bit of a learning curve for me. I'm not overly sure about it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's what I'm going to colour today, and my next colour along after this Johanna to June finishes. And thank you so much if you took part in the Johanna to June colour along. I've tried to like and comment on everyone's pictures. I hope I've got to yours if you've taken part, but please know that if I haven't commented or liked, it's probably just because I've missed it. I try and get as many done, and then Instagram on my phone seems to just like cut out after a certain period of time and doesn't show me anymore, because when I go to the actual hashtag I see some that I haven't seen and I go in and comment on there. So I don't know what's up with my phone. Maybe I need to update an app or something like that. But anyway, please don't take it personally if I haven't yet commented or liked on your picture, and thank you very much for taking part. My next colour along is the Hello Christmas one, which is again going for 6 months. Last year, with all the colour alongs I had every month, plus the long colour alongs, I just got too exhausted and I couldn't keep up, and I didn't even have time to colour for the colour alongs for a lot of them for the months. So this year I've just decided to do the two. So the Hello Christmas one is colouring up Halloween or Christmas pictures, really, and I chose that because I did it last year and it was a lot of fun, but I never get to colour Halloween pictures or Christmas pictures on time. I'm always colouring something else or doing something else, like most of you, I guess. And Halloween comes around and everyone's posting up all of their gorgeous pictures and they're doing great things and great colour alongs, and I'm still sitting there looking at all my books going, now which picture should I choose? And then by the time I've worked something out in my head, the time is over. So I clearly need a lot of time in advance to get these things done. So I've given myself a big load of time, 6 months, to get some Halloween pictures done and some Christmas pictures done. And I'll probably colour other things as well. I actually want to colour some mandalas. I think I need a little bit of a meditative type of thing at the moment, so I want to colour some of those, and I might dig out some of my markers to do that with, just as a little bit of a change. Sometimes I find if you change the pencils or the type of things that you're colouring, it can be like a little art therapy reset for your brain, and sometimes I think that we need that, especially, you know, for us at the moment, things are a bit of a roller coaster, and so I think that little time out and reset might be a little bit good for me, just to clear up the old mind. So yeah, so the Hello Christmas one is coming up soon, so I hope that you're able to take part, but it's no problems if you're not. And I've also posted up my new releases for July of 2023. I've been doing that for years now. It's so long. I think it's like 5 years for memory. I don't know where this time goes. It just goes so quickly. But oh my goodness, there's so many colouring books that are out at the moment, or coming up, or even coming up in a few months' time or next year. And I really need to start looking under the couch for some coins, because there are so many colouring books that I would like to buy, and a lot of our artists that we know and love are just producing these great books. So my new releases list is always on my blog at coloringqueen.net, and on that blog you will often find things that are not on this YouTube channel, and vice versa. I don't put the same information on both of the things, so there's always some differences there. So if you haven't been there, you can always see the new releases blog posts there. So that's it for my housekeeping update. I wish I was better at updating my own housekeeping, although I do spend hours every day just cleaning and washing dishes, but that's what you have when you have pets, you know, especially Buddy. He leaves so much hair. I have to vacuum 3 times a day to get all his hair off everywhere. So lately, I think since last time we chatted, I haven't been doing a lot, just basically sticking at home. Been trying to get rid of some stuff around the house, because first of all, it's cluttering up everything, and second of all, Mummy wants to go shopping. So yeah, I've been trying to get rid of stuff, but no one's buying anything, and I think a lot of people are affected by the current cost of living crisis, as we are here as well. It's been really, really tough. But saying that, we keep looking for a new place to move to. At the moment, we've got some neighbours that are really driving us up the wall. Yesterday, our neighbour complained about them riding their scooters up and down the street in the middle of the road with no helmets, and sort of, you know, being a little bit mischievous. And anyway, the mama bear came down and basically punched her in the head. So yeah, not nice. We've also got new neighbours that have moved next door to us, and the previous neighbours that we had, they were screamers. I couldn't do any audio. I had to move rooms because you could actually hear them screaming through the audio. And then we got other neighbours that replaced them, and they were also, they liked a loud fight, but really nice people. But yeah, they really they like to argue. And again, I moved my audio equipment to another room, because trying to get away from the noise. And now we've got a new set, and they've been there like 2 weeks, and I haven't heard a peep from them. So I don't know, I hope they're okay. We were kind of thinking that the house must be cursed, and that every couple that moves into it, you know, just ends up in big arguments all the time, and has these terrible fights. But I think both of the couples that live there, I think they kind of enjoy the big arguments and the fighting and screaming and slamming doors and tearing off, and I think they like the drama of it. I don't know, because they're both still together, and one of them, we just got invited to their birthday party, so we're not going to go because it's a few hundred kilometres away, but they'll probably have a fight there as well. But that's just the way they are, I guess. So, but we've got these other neighbours. Our other neighbour got broken into the other night, and his cars, etc. So, we've been looking for somewhere else to live as well, because I want a bigger kitchen, and also I don't want to have... We've got a 2-story house at the moment where the laundry and stuff is downstairs. And the way Buddy is with his epilepsy, I don't want to be trying to get him downstairs, etc., if I need to get him to the emergency vet. So, because, lifting 32 kilos is not my idea of a good time. And I can get him into the car, but I can't get him down the stairs if I need to. So... the week before we went south, so we went to the Gold Coast and looked around everywhere there, and so many beautiful houses, so many really nice ones. And then we sort of looked in our budget and came down to earth a bit, which is never fun. And then we were sort of looking to see what we could do, and maybe some like cosmetic renovations that we could do that might be budget effective. But there were some great areas there, and it is closer to where most of David's work is at the moment. So, it would be good if we could get something there, but I doubt that's going to happen. They keep saying that, house prices have gone down, but I'm not seeing it. Not in any of the areas that we're interested in. And then last weekend we went north, up to the Sunshine Coast, and we looked at houses up there, and again, they were a bit cheaper than south, but the problem is that there's limited work for David up there at the moment. So sort of, I don't know. Then we looked local because we got all frustrated with looking everywhere else. And again, we were really stuck on trying to find like a single level house, because so many of them around here are 2-story. And if it was single level, that it was actually like roomy. There's so many that are 2 bedrooms, and they're really, really small, and they've got a very small block of land as well, so you can't really extend out. So, and plus we'd be giving up our pool, which Buddy loves, and I like it too. I don't like to swim in the ocean. I don't know about you guys, but I find the ocean really frightening, especially as I'm not a good swimmer. I know it's kind of un-Australian, but I was never actually taught how to swim. And so I just flop around in the pool and try and figure something out. My favourite is to go underwater, because that's kind of the only thing that I can do. So I wouldn't trust my chances in the ocean doing that. David, of course, loves to surf and all the rest of it, so he's fine. But I prefer just to sit on the sidelines and watch and be there ready to call the lifesavers or something if needed. So we've been looking around again for houses, and basically that's it, trying to declutter, because I keep hoping, I'm such an optimist, I keep hoping that we'll find a house and we'll move in straight away, and I need to have this house, tidied up, so that we can quickly move without any problems and just box it up and get a truck and let's go. So I don't know, I'll keep being an optimist and maybe we'll find something. So when we came back from going down south, looking at things about, not last weekend, the weekend before, I came back and I was working on the computer, and Millie came up and she was cuddling up against me. I don't know if your cats do it, but Millie loves to sit on the keyboard, and she always turns Siri on the computer, on the Mac, and it's always saying, I didn't understand that, because Millie knows how to turn it on straight away. And she was sitting here cuddling, and because when I got her, they warned me about her, that she hates being groomed. So when she sits on the computer, she's really happy and she's sitting on the keyboard. So that's when I take the opportunity to give her a little bit of a brush. Because she's a Himalayan and long-haired, I have to brush her quite a lot because she mats up and she fights me. She scratches me, she bites me, she sinks her claws into me. She is vicious for such a beautiful cat. They weren't wrong when they said that she hated being groomed, but she loves her face being brushed. So I brush her face for a little bit, and then I work my way down her body and keep going back to the face because that's the only bit that she likes. And while I'm there, I've always got these little nail scissors on my desk, and I try and trim off any mats that she might have or any knots. And I have to move really quickly because she'll scratch me and bite me, and she wraps her paws around me and just hangs on, and you can't shake her off. She is really, really vicious. Anyway, so while she was doing that, I gave her a little bit of a trim with the nail scissors, and then she, got up off the desk and she just wandered away from my keyboard. She was fed up with me brushing her and, clipping her with the nail scissors. And anyway, David came in and he looked at her fur and he said, "Why is it red there?" And I looked and I realised I'd actually cut her with the nail scissors, and she hadn't made any sound or noise, and I hadn't even noticed. I felt sick. I felt absolutely sick that I'd cut her. And anyway, so I raced downstairs and over the road to where my neighbour is. It's a vet nurse, and I'm pounding on her door like at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and there was no answer. But her car was there, so I knew she must be around, and it turned out she was next door and she'd heard me banging on her door, and I said, "Quick, I've cut Millie." And so she came racing over and she had a look at it, and she said, "Look, she doesn't need to go to emergencies, but she'll probably need either some stitches or some skin glue." And I felt so sick, and I didn't know whether to take her to emergency or not. She does actually work at the emergency hospital that we take Buddy to, so I thought, I don't know, like I could always, if it's really continues to be looking bad, I'll take her 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that because they're still open. So I let it go, and then as soon as the vets were open the next day, I was calling on the phone from 8:30, and they, of course, her local vet, weren't answering the phone. And I'm checking their opening hours on their website and everywhere and Facebook, and it all said it opened at 8:30, but no one was answering the phone, and I was going absolutely crazy, and I was wishing that I'd taken her to emergency. I don't know, if you guys go through the same thing, but you're always sort of second guessing and wondering. And anyway, by 9 o'clock came, they finally answered, and apparently they were all short-staffed. People were sick, and so the person that usually comes in and answers the phone was off that day and sick, but they actually couldn't get Millie in for a consult until 2 days later, so Wednesday. And there's no way I could leave her like that because she could get the skin infected. It could be, much worse. So I rang around everywhere, and I finally got her in at a vet's that was like a half an hour drive away, and packed her up and took her there, and they were actually way better than her normal vet. I mean, seriously, even though it's a half an hour drive for me, I'm taking her there again because they were so caring and understanding, and they were just so sweet, and they fitted her in like at 9:30 in the morning, so I could just throw her in the car and get her straight there. And they were just really, really good. They were better than her normal vets. And anyway, they said that she does need stitches, and I don't know, for some reason, I'm pretty stupid, I know. I don't know what was going on in my head, but for some reason, I thought they could do the stitches without her being anaesthetised. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. And then they said that she needed to be under anaesthetic, and because they had her records from her normal vet, they also knew that she needed a tooth out, and having a look at her teeth, that she needed them to be cleaned, and there might be another tooth that needs to come out as well. And because Millie had a lot of dental problems when we first adopted her, so they said, because she needs the anaesthetic for the stitches, may as well do this dental work. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, oh my God, ka-ching, 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 this is going to cost an absolute fortune, and, I'm not going to be able to pay for this. And anyway, the cost came out to be, really only $100 more than what it would have been just to get her stitched up. So it kind of worked out well. So I couldn't leave her there that day for the surgery because I'd already given her breakfast at 6:30 and she'd eaten it. And with the anaesthetic, they don't advise them to have food first. So I had to bring her back the next day. So another half an hour round trip, and drop her off. And she had the surgery, and I was just so worried about her all day because we don't really know how old Millie is because they didn't know when we adopted her. We think she might be 8, but we're not really sure, So, and I was just worried just having the anaesthetic. And of course, I'm the one that cut her, so I just felt so guilty that I've done this to her and that she's had to go to hospital. But anyway, the surgery went well and I was able to pick her up, and she's got this lovely little cone on her head, which she absolutely hates because it's plastic. And thank you to everyone that suggested all these fabulous cones that you could get on Amazon. Unfortunately, in Australia, there's just nothing local available, and by the time I got it from Amazon, it's time to get the cone off. So, and while they were there, when they took out one tooth from her, and they stitched her up, but they also shaved her tummy and everything and brushed her out while she was under the anaesthetic so that I didn't have to brush her. And they actually have like these grooming classes for cats that are like Millie that don't like being groomed, but they basically said that I was doing the right thing, like brushing her with what she likes and then going on to the other areas. But obviously I'm never putting a pair of scissors or small scissors near her again. It's just going to be brush, and I don't know how we'll get the mats out, but I'll leave it up to the vets to figure that out if that needs to happen, because there is no way I am going through that again, and she's going through that again, because when she came home she wasn't eating and she was in pain, and I had some painkillers to give her, and she's not able to eat. She hates the cone. She can't sleep properly. And then, of course, she wasn't eating, so I had to take her back to the vet. And they said that she's got some inflammation, and also they wanted to give her some more antibiotics. And so we had to go back and get that done. And then she finally started eating a little bit. Then she stopped, and then she ate the next day, but she's got to eat because I've got this medication to give her, and she has to have it with food. So it's been a nightmare for her, and I just can't wait till later on today. She's getting the stitches out, and hopefully she'll be able to get the cone off, and hopefully she'll be happy and she can sleep and eat and just feel happy with herself. But I had Billy, the little dog that I usually mind, over during the week for one day while Millie had her cone on, and she was just chasing Millie around, and I just said, that's it. She can't come over this week because Millie's got a cone on and she's got stitches and she's feeling really vulnerable, and I can't have her being chased around and getting stressed out. So what I do is I just leave the other little dog at its house, and I go over every 2 hours and I'll take her for a walk around the block so that she can get out and so she can go to the loo and all of that sort of stuff. So it's been fun. But one of the funniest things that came out of it, and not for poor Millie, of course, because she's really gone through hell with this, is that I think the day that we got Millie back from the surgery, I was petting her and kissing her and, just going completely gaga over her. And by later that night, when I looked in the mirror, I noticed that one of my lips was all swollen, and I thought, that's weird. Maybe I've got like a cold sore or a pimple or something coming up. And then later on, I started scratching, and then my lips got so big, it looked like I had Botox. And I'm not kidding you. I think Botox would look really good on my lips, but I'm scared of needles. But they looked great. They were all swollen up, but they were so itchy. And my back was itchy, my hands were itchy, my arms were itchy. And so for 3 days I was just scratching, and eventually my lips stopped looking swollen, and so that lovely trout mouth, it was all gone. It only lasted like a day or something. And in the end, the itching and stuff got so bad, I worked through everything that I've touched and whatnot. And the only thing I could think of was when I smelt Millie. I think when they clipped her and brushed her, that they put some sort of product on her, because I'm quite sensitive to different products and whatnot. And I think I'm definitely allergic to it. I had to go down the chemist, and I told them, even my hair was itchy, my scalp was itchy. I was just constantly scratching. So I got these antihistamines, and I only took 2 of them, and it cleared it up straight away. So I've got to ask them when I go in with her today to get the stitches out, what they use, because I never want to buy that because I'll be scratching. But I did have these great looking lips there for a day. So I can see why people get the Botox, because they looked good. They really looked good. And then on the weekend, we took Buddy up again to get his acupuncture, which he loved. He fell asleep while he was getting it done, and he seems to really be enjoying his holistic new diet and acupuncture and massage and his Chinese herbs. He's still having seizures, but not quite as bad as before, but early days, but he's enjoying the treatment, which is the main thing. So I think that's all I have to tell you. I think what I'll do is put a digital background on this picture just so I can see what it looks like. But I won't have time to put the background on it before the end of this colour along. But I do want to thank you for taking part and for being here today. And if you like this video, give that like button a smash. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell, and it'll tinkle like a little cat's bell and notify you when I upload new videos. But until next time, stay safe and happy colouring.